Welcome to the Clubhouse podcast, exclusively brought to you by Ausmerican Aces.
Please make sure you have subscribed to all our channels and are also following us on social media at Ausmerican Aces so that you don't miss a beat.
Righto, let's get into the show. All right, welcome back. Episode 6 of the Clubhouse. Things have changed around here a little bit differently from the last time we were in. A little break last week, but we're back. Got a new addition. But yeah, boys are back in. Prelim final this week as well, so it's all exciting. But yeah, we're back episode 6, so thank you for tuning in. And yeah, we're sorry about missing last week, but it was for good reason, we promise. But we're back now and 2 more episodes to go after this, so it's yeah, very exciting and looking forward to it. But what's been happening, lads? Obviously, big result last week that got us into the prelim, but what's been happening in life outside of footy? Anything been happening? Munster, how's dad life going?
Look, it's up and down. My young fella's, obviously my oldest fella, he's a dream. Sleeps like an absolute madman. He loves his sleep. Obviously a bit mad like myself, but the young fella, he just doesn't want to go down at the moment. You have to hold him to go to sleep, and yeah, I'm ready to throw him out, to be honest. I've had a gutful. Bianca's like, oh, I want another one. I'm done.
Tap it out.
I've had enough.
You've got your Yankees-inspired kit today. You a big fan, are you?
Babe Ruth, mate. Look, a big fan of Baby. I was born around that time. That's how old I am these days. Look, I thought, you know what, it's in the cupboard. Beautiful day outside, 26, so thought I might as well just wear something different for the potty.
26 in Melbourne today, eh? Yeah. Outstanding. It didn't feel that warm coming in though, did it?
Nah, I think it's a Arvo, starting to heat up in the Arvo, so it's only morning at the moment, so I reckon it'll get hot later, and I reckon the beaches will be packed down there. But just on that, man, I seen Bianca at the cafe this morning, and honestly, do you even help her at home, bro? Honestly, we sat down, waited for our coffees, and just complained how much you don't do at home. So it sounds like you're making it out like you're doing everything, but is that true? Are you doing anything at home?
I'm probably doing more things with Jackson than I am with the young fella. It's a lot easier hanging out with Jackson, that's for sure. But like, I'm probably not doing hands-on stuff, but she's doing it out of spite. When he wakes up, turns all the lights on in the bedroom. Like she doesn't make it any quieter. She's not breastfeeding quite. She's pretty much rubbing it in my face by sitting next to me.
Just to wake you up.
Just to wake me up. And I'm there doing these ones. I'm like, are you taking the piss?
How many nappies have you changed, you reckon?
Of Jagger?
Of everyone. Jackson as well.
No, I change heaps of nappies.
Really?
Yeah, I do mostly Jacksons.
Yeah.
Nappies, but I've done probably, I reckon, 10 plus on Jagger.
There you go. So you're not too bad.
No, not too bad. I just don't like changing Jagger because if anyone knows that had kids, it sticks a fair bit. And it's very hard to wipe off.
So that's why you've been coming into training smelling like shit.
So I've been doing the old scrunch and fold with the kids. So they're getting ready for the scrunch and fold segment soon.
Yeah,
front to back with kids, or
I'll go front, back, forward, around the groins. So.
You're going to clean up the back, don't you? Up the spine.
Well.
Yeah, up the spine to the neck, right up to the neck.
What about you, Hughesy? What's been happening? Got your Masters-inspired kit on today?
Yeah, yep. Haven't been playing much golf lately, so that's why I got the Masters tee on, and I think we're heading out for a game tomorrow, actually. So
Metro, isn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Lucky.
So it should be a bit of fun. I think there's 8 of us getting out there. Hopefully a bit of cash to be won.
Is Welchie playing?
Yes, our mate Welchie will be there. Hopefully we can take some more cash off him, I guess.
Is it true he hit 21 points the other day with you?
Yes, it is true.
Where was that
at? When did we play? Sunday. Couple of days ago, and that was our Amesbury.
I haven't played there.
It's a fair bit out west, and we teammate played a couple of the Rebels boys. They're good players, actually, Wilkes and Juicy, and they got low handicaps, and it was me and Welch Dog up against them too, and I think I scored 37, which is not too bad for me.
Good. That's
not
pretty
too
good.
bad off a high handicap, 20 handicap, and Welchie had 21 points. It took him a while to get into double digits, yeah.
Was he 9 after 9?
9 after 9.
Oh.
Can we confirm driver come out?
It stayed out. That's why he went so bad. It stayed out the whole. I think he used his 4-iron on the last hole when it was like do or die. We pressed, and he bring it out. So, but To be fair, I was telling him to stay confident, but now that I think about it, I should have told him to put that thing away.
How's you at the start? Yeah, I haven't played golf recently, only on Sunday.
Well, yeah, sorry, that was I forgot about that. That was like that was the first time I played in like 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
can't wait to get out there and take some more money. Well, actually win back some money tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, the next time I play golf is going to be a while because just had to cancel the Queenstown trip, which I was very excited about.
That would hurt.
But so
What do you
I'll
been
save
doing
it for
perhaps
another
in the
day.
last couple of days, mate?
No, not much really. Sort of got to keep your feet up for a couple of weeks with this, and I'm non-weight bearing for about a month. So yeah, we'll touch on that later. But yeah, the last couple of days I've just been resting up, getting a nice tan. Sun's been out here in Melbourne, so Tommy commented on that before. Nice little glow.
You went out to Slatty's farm for
Yeah, been out to Slatsy's farm. It's out sort of Berwick way there, but just like a bit of a different scenery. And Nick and Bill are pretty much my second mum and dad at the moment, looking after me, making me dinner, making me lunch and everything. But yeah, I think just change of scenery. And obviously Pez was away in Queensland Cup, so I was the only one at home. I mean, I'm pretty independent, but it's hard when you only got 1 foot. So.
That's not weight bearing too. That
being away there, and I'll go back. I'll go back in a few days just to get back into a routine of that. But it's just hard while I'm doing nothing.
Have you hit up Uber Eats for a sponsorship?
Yeah, I should. I've already ordered it 3 times the last couple of days. Holy heck! I actually ordered. The sad thing is, I'm ordering like from Richmond, so it's like I live in Richmond. I'm ordering from places in Richmond. Yeah, legit downstairs.
Underneath your apartment.
I was thinking this morning. I was like, I have time to go get a coffee, come back, and then I was like, no, I can't. Like, I'm on crutches. I can't hold the coffee to come back.
Yeah.
So then Tommy's just going to get us some coffees now. What a good bloke.
Guy.
But
I'm going to beat him in fantasy. What a guy.
Yeah, it's just last few days. I tried to go into training yesterday, and it's just like there's not much you can do. So
It's tough.
I'll figure it out the next week or so. But yeah, laying low the first couple of days. So all right, let's break into the icebreaker. It's obviously first thing we do. Got carried away there, but for good reason.
We'll come back. We'll come back to it.
We've got this one from Ilona Bari. This is a tough one to think of. So we've looked over at the start of the podcast. I'm still not sure, but I'm hoping the boys can get me a bit of guidance on their answers. If you had the chance to invent a country, what would you name it? And let's build into it, right? Let's say like what continent, where would it be?
Where would it be? Yeah, okay.
What's your peak weather? Like what language are you speaking?
Yeah. Do you want to go? You got anything, Mike?
Oh, I've got something in the works.
You guys.
I'll probably be more
straight off the dome. I like what you when you come up with stuff off the
it'd
dome.
be, I reckon, similar to Sailor Croatia. I think a little bit of like the yachts and stuff. Call it Money Island.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just obviously the only way you can get to the island is on a yacht.
Yeah.
No service, so no phone, so no one's always sitting on their phones trying to obviously use social media, so everyone gets to mingle and spend time together. Obviously a golf course on the island.
Yep.
Been thinking really hard about that. A nice little rooftop bar with a nice Italian little restaurant, maybe a little bit of seafood. And then, obviously a bit of a party island at the same time. We have one side golf, the other side party. And then we might even have a little family side on there. Yeah, little family, little creche or something over the other side.
Good save. That's actually, you've sold the dream for me there, I reckon. I mean, Italian food in Croatia though, like is there a Croatian food or?
I'm not too sure. I've never been over there, but I've always wanted to, obviously, I've heard good news about Croatia, but I'm more thinking, I don't know, I was more just using the concept of Croatia, of the yacht, sailing the yacht. So it could obviously be anywhere else around the world, but I just love my Italian food and I thought there'd be a nice little restaurant of seafood around that area.
Yeah, right. No phones, no Wi-Fi.
No phones, nothing.
Wi-Fi.
No, just go over there and just enjoy the scenery and just enjoy yourself and enjoy the moment around there. Just to be in the moment.
Interesting one. So it's not bad. You sold the dream to me. I'd move there.
Yeah.
Dues?
I don't know. It's a weird name. I'll probably just put a couple of places that I've grown up in and live in. So New Zealand, obviously. Yep. So I'll put New.
What do you?
I'll start with New.
This is the name.
This is the name.
All right.
New
Coast.
Melbourne Coast.
New
Melbourne Coast.
Oh, okay.
I just went for New Zealand, Melbourne, Gold Coast. Don't mind
that.
that.
Like Townsville and that. You spent a bit of time at Townsville.
Yeah.
Nah, brushed.
No. I enjoyed my time up there, but it does hold something, close to my heart, but not as much as those other three. And I don't want to have a bloody huge long name, so I'll go with that. New Melbourne Coast. Doesn't actually sound too bad now that I think about
really
it.
Nice, actually.
New Melbourne Coast.
Yeah.
NMC.
NMC.
Wait,
that's pretty
on
good.
the island, or is it an island, or is it
Yeah, it'll be a little island, a biggish island.
Like Tasmania.
Obviously, a little bit bigger than that.
Oh, wow.
Sun, obviously, nice weather.
Yeah.
Good surf.
Ooh, yeah.
Good surf. But it'll be cold water like New Zealand, and they can have like the seafood that they have in New Zealand because they got some quality seafood in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
And then on land, it'll just have Italian food. Hey, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Don't do that, bro. That's my fellow Kiwis. Yeah, just have, I guess, normal stuff. Sort of like, I was going to say Gold Coast, but be similar to Gold Coast, similar to Wellington, and similar to Melbourne. Nice city.
Good
lots
food.
of sport.
Lots of sport.
Lots of sport. Good food. Great people.
What's the major sport? You know how for like
Yeah.
you know how like for
And
us,
it can't be
national
league.
sport.
It
Yeah,
cannot be
national
league.
sport.
Yeah.
Can't be rugby league.
I might go off the cuff. That's a good one, actually. I'll try something that's not like a massive sport. Golf? Is that too much? Or maybe golf or skateboarding?
Do you reckon
I'm just
golf's
gonna go
a
out
national
of the-
sport anyway? Do you reckon it's
I reckon it's picked up since COVID. I reckon everyone's playing
like
now.
a national sport?
I don't think it's a national
National?
sport anyway, though.
No, you're probably right. There's no national sport.
Because what
There you go.
country would it be? Yeah.
Well, New
I'll
Melbourne
take it
Coast,
then. Yeah,
yeah.
New Melbourne Coast.
Yeah,
the
golf
golf
golfing
is a national
capital
sport.
of
yeah,
the
wow.
world.
Yeah, you
Just tipped over Money Island. Money Island second.
I like it. I like that. That's not bad.
What's your national sport of what you call Money Island?
Money Island. I'm gonna go beer pong.
Beer pong.
Beer pong. National.
And what's the national team called?
Big on Otis?
The what?
Horse-itis, he reckons. Big eye.
No, national team
God.
name. Let's call it the Dollars.
The dollars.
The Dollars.
The dollar beer
pongs.
pongs. The dollar pongs.
You surely you've taken a bit of inspiration from us.
What do you got, Pepper? You'll have to have the best now.
I live in both countries for sure. Coming up with a name's hard. I liked your idea of going where you're from. I think I'd just call mine Pappyland.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's going to be good weather, nice warm weather, but it gets real cold in the winter. So like that Melbourne sort of feel.
Yeah.
But the water's warm all the time.
Okay.
So like I'm talking Hawaii water.
Yeah.
That's my idea. National sport for us will be badminton. Just, I don't know, just something you can play everywhere.
Yeah.
Any
that's
sport,
not bad.
indoor, outdoor, whatever. And just a small population. I think you want to be people knocking the doors to come in to Pappyland. So that's me. But yeah, I'd definitely live in both your countries. So good question, Lona. Lona, I think it is. We do appreciate that. And yeah, keep sending those icebreakers through. I honestly, that was going to be really hard, but I'm pretty happy with how we answered that.
Yeah, no, we did all right. I thought it was going to be
Before we finish, what is your cuisine? You know how
cuisine?
Yeah, Pappy Island.
Are we going like favourite or what's going to suit the island?
what's going to suit the
island?
I'm going to go just like fruit salad.
Fruit salad?
Yeah, fruit salad's going to be
There'll
like
be some shredded people on
every
that
fruit,
island.
every prime fruit is always in season.
Yeah, okay.
So just fruit salad.
It's just prime conditions. So it's like you got like mangoes, raspberries, blueberries, watermelons, rock melon on the go.
That on pot. Look at him.
That's how.
Fruity,
Yeah,
man.
it's like that real chill island vibe.
Yeah.
And fruit's our main cuisine. So when you're going out for a nice dinner, it's just a good spread.
And then fruit cocktails.
The fruit cocktails and everything's just based around fruit. And then like you can eat like any trees you can just eat, like the cabriole. But do you ever see the cabriole where it just eats everything?
Yeah.
Every tree's got like fruit on it and you can just eat it.
That's mad.
That's my dream.
I actually like that.
Pineapple, yeah, pineapple.
Got
That's a bit Hawaii about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One punch.
That's my,
The Pappy Punch.
the Pappy Punch.
Punch.
Pappyland, where you get fruit, warm water, and good weather all year round.
So, Pappy, you got a new accessory. Is that an Adidas boot you got there? Adidas moon boot. Obviously, pretty devastating, mate. But you know how you're feeling now, and what's next for you?
Yeah, it's obviously not ideal. Not Adidas. Everything else is though. So shout out Adidas. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. Obviously, it was a couple of weeks ago now, but up at Suncorp, I think it was only a few minutes to go, about 5 or 6 minutes to go, and I went to make a tackle, which I think I've said this on the podcast before. I'm not built for making tackles, but this scenario just showed it. But so dislocated my ankle. broke my fibula, ruptured my deltoid, and ruptured my syndesmosis. So did a bit of damage at the time, which I think it's honestly best case scenario, to be honest, out of everyone that they were tossing up at the stadium. I think it was pretty lucky it wasn't a compound fracture. It actually stayed in the skin, but they were saying they were a bit worried because there was a bit of blood on my sock. Yeah. I think it must have been from like a previous tackle.
Yeah.
So I think when they came out, everyone was sort of thinking, oh shit, it's out. And then, when you're on the ground and you sort of hear people around you and you sort of go into a bit of a panic. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I just got to, I don't know. It's hard. I'm usually a really positive guy. And I think this one hit me a bit harder just purely because it's taken me so long from the knee to come back. And now I'm just sort of sitting here knowing that I've not as long ahead of me, but I do have another rehab and it does require a lot of mental and physical energy. And I think it's just wrapping your head around going back for that journey. So, it sucks. And I think I'm still coming to terms with it. I think, like I said, I'm usually a pretty positive guy, but at the moment it's just, down the dumps and feeling sorry for myself, but I'm sure I'll kick out of it. But just a little mishap during a game and happens to everyone. So
it's tough. Like, even out there at the time and, you deserve a bit of time to grieve because especially after what you've been through and coming back and, being successful, couple games, playing really well, and then something like that to happen is just, shattered for you. And I remember being out there and I was sort of on the other side of the field and then I seen you go down and then I could see you, you knew something was wrong, and then that's when I knew something was wrong, ran over, and then I heard Mun and he was saying, you probably would have heard Mun too, he was saying, it doesn't look good either. And then I remember sitting down next to you and then just like looking at you and I knew it was not good. Like I didn't know what was going on, but you could immediately tell like, something's not good, and it's just come back like, shit, not again. Like that was going through my head, but like what was going through your head at the time when something happened? Did you feel instantly you knew something was gone or?
Instantly I'm sure you've had injuries. It's just like you just feel like something shouldn't be where it's meant to be. And I remember just having that feeling and then looking down and then my foot was just a little bit off out to the right. And like, I think that shock of seeing that and then feeling the pain, it was like, what have I done here, And then it's sort of the pain didn't go away and then you sort of feel everyone come around you and you just get this feeling that it's really bad. And I remember just sort of, rolling around in pain. And to be honest, it was probably more painful than my knee.
Really?
Yeah, I think probably visually seeing it and being like, oh, fuck,
something's
it's actually,
right
that's not where it's meant to be. And then everyone coming around and then I don't remember much of the straight, immediately after, like who sort of came up to me and who was speaking to me. I just remember Jonesy coming up to me being like, oh yeah, everything's where it's meant to be and all that. And I was like, mate, I just fucking looked at my foot.
Straight lied to you.
I was like, mate, I just looked at my foot. I don't think it's meant to be there. But I think he made me believe that it's in now and you can just chill out, which I think they're meant to do.
I think it was giving you a bit of confidence because I seen your ankle ball and I'm like, and I was like, I think it's compound because obviously I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I just seen that big long bottom bone of your ankle that's out near the sock, and I'm like, it could be compound, but lucky it wasn't, so it was good.
I have watched replays of it, just to see how it happened, but yeah, you're right. Like I seen your reaction, then you see Big Payno run over.
Yeah, he was
Jordan Ricky too. It was I know now I wasn't carrying on because their reaction sort of tailed it all, but. Yeah, I guess it was a bit unlucky. I got caught under Nelson, and poor Nelson, man. He'd been getting messages just from, I wouldn't say fans if they're saying this stuff to him, but he'd been copping it pretty hard since then.
Really?
Just about why would you throw yourself in that position, all this sort of stuff. And it's like, mate, accidents happen. I made sure he come and visit me in hospital the next day and reassured to him that there's no hard feelings. It is what it is. That's footy sometimes.
It's pretty poor people messaging Nelson about it.
Well, it just goes to show.
It's a contact sport, unfortunately. I know
they don't understand the game.
Obviously, they don't know what's.
It was a freak incident, and I don't know. Just like I said, it's just first coming to terms with it, and then going down to the sheds after. So this is what the medicos were telling me after, right? So there was a cardiac arrest up in one of the top stands.
Oh, shit.
So they were attending to that. And that's why they told me it took so long for them to come down onto the field. Yeah. And I was like, oh, God. But hopefully the bloke's all right. I think he was stable after speaking to him after a while. But yeah, so there was a bit going on at Suncorp that night. And then,
I think we had a couple of head knocks not that long after. And then
Zave went down before that as well. So
so I remember Jonesy was saying like we had no doctors or anything around to do the head knocks or X's, I think it was his ankle. And Jonesy was just out there just going on his own, honestly, rattled.
It felt like so long I was on the field. And then when they come out and brought me the green whistle, I was like, to be honest, the pain was still there until I got like medicabbed off and I was in the rooms.
Yeah.
The pain, like I reckon it was probably an hour and a half. I reckon the pain started to settle once I was in the ambulance off to the hospital.
Yeah,
so
you're still in pain for a long time.
I was still in pain for a long time, but then I was also like just the green whistle just does weird things to you. So I was like real emotional.
Was it? I've never had it before. Every time I've seen people do it, it's
really?
First time. So if I can describe the taste of it, it'd be like a juicy fruit, the chewies, and
it's not
bad. Like licorice. I reckon.
Black licorice.
You know what? When I describe it to people, I don't say it actually tasted like Sambuca.
Oh,
you know the shot?
That's licorice.
Yeah. It like tasted like that, and then you just don't feel it working, so you're sucking harder and harder and harder.
Yeah,
and then
you were sucking on the
I remember getting down the room after, and I was like, "Oh, this thing's done." And I was like, "Can I have another one?" They're like, "Oh, trust me, you'll be right."
You soon, yeah.
And then as soon as I got into the ambulance, it was cool, but. I remember just being like heaps emotional. I think I was like apologising like Frankie and like my manager is at the game. He come down. I was like apologising to him and Dave Donaghy, our old CEO, come down to the sheds. He's the Broncos CEO now. Yeah. So yeah, like I think in those times you get see the support you've got. But I was a bit delirious for a few hours there, and just happy sort of the pain went away. And once I got to the hospital, they looked after me, and it's experience that you don't wish to go through, but now I've been through it. You just got to look at the brighter side of things and hopefully come out the other side.
Spoke to Tarek. He reckons he come and seen you that night, and he was saying that obviously you're still a little bit out of it and you didn't shower. You couldn't shower.
Oh, you couldn't, yeah.
So he reckons you still had your footy gear on and he had to change you. And he reckons
he did.
He reckons big reason why they call you Big Puppy. Is that true?
Nah. I was
the new donk.
To be fair, I was in budgies all night, so it's probably the reverse, to be honest. But
the shrimp.
Yeah,
the ice bath. Oh,
yeah, lucky Taz come, and it wasn't a lady nurse, but he come down to the hospital, and so did a lot of people, and I'm not actually sure exactly who because I was a bit
out of it.
So I sort of went off the green whistle, and then they put me on happy gas to put me into a cast just because they literally said to me,
like, move you.
Yeah, so they said to me, I was just laying there and they go, okay, so we're going to give you like some happy juice because you've got to like fix your ankle up. It's going to be really like uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, sweet. I was preparing. I was like, like I'm going to feel this. It's going to suck. Yeah. I remember them putting the mask over me and then like waking up and like it was in a cast and I was like,
really? So you went to sleep?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And then the anesthetist, is that what they're called? Yeah. He must have come in and he's like, oh, like, did you feel it? And I was like, no, I didn't feel anything. He's like, sweet, done my job. And he just walked out. And I was like, I didn't even know his name. He just come in here, put gas on me and then just walked out of the room.
Sleep and left.
But no, as soon as I woke up from that, Tarek come in and I got moved to another room and I haven't had a shower yet. So they were just sort of going to leave me there overnight because I had surgery at 8 a.m. Yeah. So it was sort of just like, we'll just leave him and let me sleep and whatnot. But yeah, God bless Tarek. He come in and I think he's had a few leg breaks. So obviously he's been in the hospital with his kids a few times. So he understood what it's like to be in a hospital and he's just straight away to the nurse. Oh, can I get some wet wipes? Can I get some water? Can I get this, that? And it was just like my dad during that. He knew what to do. And
so he wiped you down?
He wiped me down, He took me jocks off, wiped me down.
You wiped down there or what's the guy there?
I wiped myself. But
you wouldn't remember you're on the happy gas.
Yeah, who knows? I think I wiped myself down. But and then they ended up like cutting my boot off. So my boot's in pieces. Obviously to get out. Yeah, still got it. Little memento.
Cut up.
Still cut up. I don't know what they did with my jersey. They're real stingy with the jersey, right, Storm? So like,
Houston probably went and grabbed that. Can I grab that jersey back? I'll sew it back up.
By the time
I'll sew it back up.
I don't remember like them taking my jersey off. I just remember waking up with my shorts and my socks. I'm like, they obviously don't care about that. Yeah. So I've got the shorts and socks at home. I don't think I'll give them back.
The
but
boys could, they might message you for the shorts and socks.
They might I'll just have I'll get paid less this month and take it out of my pay.
Shirt, socks.
Oh,
$100.
Yeah, Taz come in. He was awesome. I think he stayed till like 4:30.
What a man.
And then the nurse even come out. She's like, "Oh, do you want me to get you a bed so you can just sleep here?" He's like, "No, I'll wander back now." And he left at 4:30. And then, I don't actually remember anything in between that. And then when I was in the room just pre-surgery.
Just ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. And then I was that tired. So by the time they just put the mask on, I was like, I don't even remember. Like, they usually get you to count down or do something like that. I don't even remember. I was just like, and then just fell asleep, woke up to mum and dad walking in the room. And I was like, fuck, like, what's mum and dad doing here? Like, I was like, for a second, I thought I was back in Sydney because I was like, what are they doing here? But they flew up and come spend a few days with me. And
nice.
like I said, like, plenty of the lads come to hospital and just sat by my side, had a chat, and it was just good to have that support. And it just goes to show how strong of a team you are when you've got guys coming in on their day off and they could be travelling back just to see you. So
the old man would have been brought his clubs up. He would have been cleaning his clubs in front of you.
Said hello and then straight down on the golf course. I reckon.
Big Nilo, he was pretty keen to have a hit. I think he asked the surgeon when I'd be able to play again, but he'd be listening. He listens to every one of our potties. So big shout out, Nilo, you're watching. Thanks for coming up. And Mun's keen on a game of golf, so
I'll be keen.
Hit him up, and I'm sure you'll. I think he's off like 23. It's a bit of a burglar.
Yeah, I played that last time. He was actually pretty good though at Q.
Yeah, he was all right. He wasn't too bad. But they looked after me for a few days. When I say looked after me, I just went back to Sydney and
chilled out.
Just worked from home and I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen some of your Insta stories with the old man. Fuck it, that's funny.
That's so funny. Lunch break and he's on the bloody golf.
I think he's got a Bucks weekend and they're playing golf up at Nelson Bay and he just wanted to get ahead of the pack. You know, he's like competitive. Check the course out. See what mode he's going to have to play in. But I think the last sort of week, it's been tough, but at the same time, there's people going through tougher times. So I just got to give myself a bit of a reality check and get back to things. But yeah, I mean, the support's been massive. So I guess if you got support like that behind you, it's much easier to go through a rehab like you boys know. And hopefully come out the other side. And
surgery went well. Like, how long have they given you a time frame?
Yeah, so surgery went well. So they put a plate in down the outside, and they put 10 screws in, and then a tightrope. So that
was for the syndesmosis.
Syndesmosis, yeah. So I got it out of the cast yesterday. Just got some new padding sort of put on the sides, and it was actually weird to look at it like. I've never seen my ankle like that before, but it's just like all the stitches down the side and just so fat. But surgery went really well. He was happy. Dr. Ben Foster up there in Brisbane. He was really happy. He'd been messaging me since just to stay on top of the pain and what I need to do going forward. But it seemed pretty positive, the whole experience. And I think return to play, I'm not sure, but hopefully I'm training in the new year. I think that's the plan, which will be, what's that? 3 months or something. So it's no shattered kneecap, which I'm grateful for. But at the same time, it's still a big rehab ahead and I'm hopefully good to go for round one next year.
I'd hate to be playing against you next year, mate, with the comeback season.
Especially with a pre-season under your
and how
belt.
fit you'll be and how much rehab and all the muscles and everything. Obviously getting it right now, you have to worry about your knee now, so you can obviously rehab both of them, and I'm pretty excited to see what you can do next year.
Yeah. You're probably getting a lot of messages of support too, which is good, and we always got your back and the boys got your back. So, we'll always be there for you if you need anything. But, it's good to have you back around us, and obviously not the right situation, but we know you'll come back better than ever, bro.
The support's been overwhelming. Like, it's been getting messages from people you just never think you get messages from before that were watching and that just care. And it's like, that gives me a bit of motivation to go like, okay, like, I've been through worse, which is, fair enough. And this will still be tough in its own right. But to have people say that my journey from the last one inspired them to get up and do something or bounce back from their own adversity, it's like, okay, that's what's going to get me going again. And like you said, that motivation to come back from the knee, it was to win a premiership. And this year was the goal to be a part of that. But I think that's part of the disappointment now has been like, okay, that's not realistic anymore for myself. But at the same time, let's go again next year and let's just move the goalposts and Now I've got so many people behind supporting me. It's like, don't want to let them down, don't want to let myself down, and I've already come this far. So, I appreciate the support, lads. It's good to be back in the studio, good to be back talking trash, and I'll be good. So,
I think you're like, on top of that too, like, I think what you've been through as well and what you're going to go through, you motivate a lot of people as well. Like, I've had a couple messages from, people I went to school with, and one of the girls I went to school with sent that message, and I sent it to you guys and saying how much motivation you were to her to get through her own challenges as well. So that's big ups to you. Just shows, the person you are, and you probably don't think it, but you're motivating a lot of people as well. So good on you, brother. And
thank you.
I'm sure you'll do it again, and I'm sure you'll motivate some more people. So
I'll be right. Call me Iron Man. I've got that many screws in me at the moment. I'll be good.
Fans, mate.
But enough of me, lads. Obviously, a massive win last week. Hughesy, you weren't a part of it, but you were. Big win over the Roosters, qualifying final. So moves us into a prelim. But the man of the moment, Mr. Money Munster, put it on a string for Will Warbrick, and I'll let you talk you through the rest. But, mate, that was super impressive, and I'll let you talk through the game and whatnot. But into another prelim for you, and second nature for you now, isn't it?
No, not at all. Look, it was a good game. I spoke about it probably yesterday in our meetings and that. Just a couple of little moments, obviously. Harry and Wishy obviously knocking that ball on. We all make mistakes, but it just shows those little moments. And then they scored that set. And then I didn't kick that ball in the fifth tackle, tried running it, tried to create something, and got taken in the touch, and obviously got given a goal fall from
the whole bench,
from the whole Roosters bench.
Cheese on the bench.
Cheese was on the bench. I could hear him giving it to me and into my face. And I was just trying not to look. I was just trying to.
Have they not learnt? Like, if there's one thing, there's one guy not to stir up. It's you. Like, I'm just turning away. I'm not saying anything. But go on. Like, I'm definitely sure it's motivated for the rest of the game. But so that happened.
Yeah, that happened, and then obviously Sam Walker kicked the field goal, and then we had a couple opportunities to kick the field goal. Obviously, I didn't think the time was right. Lucky enough that yourself, Hughesy, and some of the boys in our team, we always do those kind of scenarios at training, and we obviously get ready for it just in case it ever comes to fruition. And I remember Harry going down the short side and trying to score himself, and I'm thinking, far out, I'm going to have to try and do something special here. I couldn't kick the goal because I felt like Tedesco was in my range to be able to kick it.
Yeah.
And I knew all week, I know how good Will is in the air, and I kind of looked over and I kicked it for him, and I was surprised. Obviously, he was there, and I know Ellie and that were all chasing, and when I seen him pluck that ball in the air, and their winger, I can't pronounce his name, but he did so well to try and knock that ball out of his hands, and Will somehow just kept his strong hands. And when he scored, it was a sigh of relief, because myself and a couple other blokes in the team at that time were kind of almost butchered the game, but it just come back to obviously, and didn't really think too much about it. I just knew if I got in the spot, hopefully Will can obviously have that clutch moment and execute the play that I was hoping he'd execute it, because otherwise I would have got about 1,000 messages saying, you are useless.
It was an amazing catch. Like,
it's crazy.
The slow-mo, you can just see, like, his grip on that ball, he was not letting that
he
go.
had strong hands, bro. Like,
that is so hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone who hasn't tried it before, for him not to, like, give a little bobble of the ball, that is so hard to do. And then him to catch it, get it down, put it on the ground in that moment like that. Like, for one, man, putting it on the spot for him, but two, that catch is like...
crazy. He's been practicing a lot too, to be honest. I know he's come out of the media and said it, but he's always keen to, after training, he's always hitting me up like, Hughesy kicks, and I'm like, nah, Bolt, I'm too old for this. My body's stuffed. I'm going to the ice bath. But he's always asking, and he always gets someone to kick for him, and I kick for him a couple of times, but he's just practicing it all the time, and it's good to see it come out in the game, and such a massive play too. We're going off in the box, like. Oh, everyone else was. Craig wasn't. Obviously, he's thinking the worst. Probably, knock on. Are you sure it's not a knock on? Just bloody chair, mate.
He's the most negative teller. Negative Nelly.
We were just going off. We were screaming, and he's just fucking swearing, playing.
On Craig, you pretty much got to sign like an agreement that you can't say anything that he says in the box. Like, he's just so personal and negative. I'll get out of the box times and think, God, we're such a negative club. Like, we won on the weekend, and he was still being negative. And I'm just like, did we win or not?
Someone had to say, I think it was after the meeting, I think you said, you're like, did we win or did we just lose?
What do you reckon?
Because he was just so...
What do you reckon the margin is at halftime that he'd be comfortable with? I'm telling you, it wouldn't even be 40.
None.
It wouldn't even be 40.
None.
Maybe 100.
Unless we completed 100%.
Yeah, maybe.
and we kicked it 100% and we didn't give any penalties away, he'd be happy, I reckon.
Which is impossible.
Yeah,
to
impossible. He's just obviously he's got high standards and he's very passionate, but sometimes I just think a win's a win at times and you got to celebrate your wins. But for him,
it's good that he's got the support crew like assistant coaches that do
balance,
that. Yeah, it's a good balance. He's the negative guy, the negative Nancy, but you always need that. And then other boys are like the fun guys, and they got a good balance.
They got to have someone in the box for his. He's got to have a pacemaker. Pacemaker. He's got to have something in his heart. Pacemaker.
Pacemaker or a pacemaker? They're two different things.
Two things. In his peace, he needs to come to peace, and he's a pacemaker. Honestly, I don't know how many times he's had a cardiac arrest.
Yeah, honestly,
he's hardly pumping that much.
He works himself up a fair bit. It's funny. Obviously, Hughes, you're in the box, so you would have rode the emotions with him. But yeah, it's scary at times, but I guess that's.
His passion.
His passion. Yeah, his passion showing. If he wasn't like that, or you've seen him sort of dwindle off that, you'd probably question if he cared or not.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
At least you know he cares.
Yeah. And that wasn't your only big play of the night, Mun. You also put a nice little hit of the week, they reckon.
It's probably my first tackle I made all year. You know what? I've actually seen Josie all week for that shoulder because I think I've broken it. But look, I got lucky. I know Sammy Walker pretty well. He looked at me and then looked away, and I thought that's my perfect opportunity to try and blindside him. And I knew, obviously, we did a lot of video, and I'd seen Tedesco crabbing across, and I felt like I probably needed to go and make the play. And I know he looked at me, and then he didn't think I was coming, and then I went really last minute when he passed it.
Surprised him.
Yeah, I kind of got lucky there. I think I landed it pretty well, but it still won't be the bigger hit than what George Tafua got me. But I'll take, at least I've got a highlight reel for a tackle now. It's not the other way around.
Like though, it was Tafua-like.
Living in your head rent-free, obviously, man. You haven't forgotten about that one.
Nah, I still have nightmares about it.
Georgie Tafua, 2019.
Ended up on what, ESPN?
ESPN.
House of Highlights?
Yeah.
House of Highlights,
I think.
So there's a lot of people that's seen it.
Yeah. My ribcage is still shaking, but I just got lucky there. I think that was probably one of my best defensive plays or displays that whole year. So hopefully I can bring it on Friday night.
Another great crowd on, what night did we play? Friday or Saturday? Friday night. So you had, obviously at the MCG, you had, was it Carlton? Carlton D's playing. So I think they had 96,000 or something there.
And we had 20,000.
And we had 20,000. Yeah. So it's like.
Which is pretty good, like.
Compared to.
For sure.
When you got a massive game like that across the road, and if you told anyone that didn't know anything about footy or anything, but you'd say something, there's a game over there with 96,000 and there's another game here that's not the biggest sport in Melbourne, you'd think, we'll get nothing. But 20,000, like.
20, I think what's capacity? 25?
25, 30, I think.
It's 30, yeah.
So you got,
But we got the most like loyal supporters, supporters, members. They show up every week, and even when we're not playing that well, they're always there cheering us on, and they were very loud on the weekend and probably got us over the line, to be honest.
I love the sporting, like in Melbourne. Like you look, like we were playing games or we were just down on the weekend, we might have a bye or anything like that. But blokes and women are still going out in their like AFL kit or their sport kit. Like, and they're in all Richmond, walking around pubs and going towards the game, and they're with their kids and stuff. You don't see it anywhere else in Australia. Like, I know obviously Brisbane's like massive for rugby league, but I know the Caxton, they get pumped, but you don't see that kind of like camaraderie of like AFL teams just wearing their colours and coming to the game. Like, yeah, it's crazy. They've done it really well, Melbourne, with their sporting, obviously with all their sport. But yeah, I think honestly Queensland and like Sydney could probably take a little bit of a leaf out of their book there.
Yeah, that's right. Like on Friday, I was obviously I didn't play, so I had to come in early. I think it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the Arvo before the game to train, and I was going down Swan, and there was like heaps of people with like their Storm jerseys on, like ready to go to the game. And I was like, the game's in ages. Obviously, they were getting down to the pub and getting a few schooners into them before the game, but it's real cool to see it. It's actually such a vibe driving down Swan whenever there's a game on, like a home game. Whenever I go, if we're playing at home, I like going down there. I can go the other way, but
it's a buzz,
you get a buzz. You see a lot of Storm jerseys out there and purple hair, and they really get around it. It gives you a bit of buzz going to the game. So
it's so cool to see.
Awesome
like I said, I haven't played in a while, but like when you drive and sort of, is it down Lennox? When you go down Lennox and you turn on the Swan and like the Richmond club's in front of you?
Yeah.
And you just always see Storm jerseys there. It's like,
it's so good.
Like, it's just a cool feeling knowing that they're out enjoying themselves, but they're eventually going to make their way down and watch you play. And like, it is a cool feeling. Like Mun said, Melbourne sport, that's just unbelievable. Any sport it is, but especially our Melbourne Storm fans, they always come out in numbers. They're very passionate, probably the most passionate fans you'll come across.
I stayed in Richmond the night before the game because obviously I wasn't getting much sleep at home. And then I walked to the game because I was staying literally in Richmond there.
Well, you walked to this last game?
Yeah, I walked. Yeah, it felt so good, like seeing all the fans and everyone around. I was just like, I might need to walk around here more often. It was just a good buzz. Like, it just felt great. Like just the atmosphere and that.
Yeah, right. Didn't know that. Maybe you should stay in Richmond more often. Oh, yeah. It's the place to be.
I'm not doing it in Sydney. I'll probably get thrown rocks or something.
Well, we stay pretty much near the stadium anyway.
Yeah, true.
But, good luck walking there. I don't know if you'd make it. But why? That probably leads to the next one. Like, why do you love playing at home so much? Obviously, you got your fans and the crowd and whatnot, but I think our old boys speak about it a fair bit. It used to be called the graveyard. So it's not just the fans, but it's also the weather. It's also just the feel you get when you go into Amy Park, and obviously we're so familiar with the place. So something I wanted to ask you lads, obviously played a few games there now, but what's your favourite thing about playing at Amy Park and what makes it so special?
Yeah, I think apart from the fans and our loyal supporters, it's just the field and just the stadium as well. Like, it's probably one of my favourite stadiums to play at. Like, it's not, it's not the big Suncorp or anything, but it's just nice and tight. Like, it's nice. It's not a massive stadium, and everyone that's in the stands get a good look at it, and you can hear them. It just feels nice and tight. And like I said, going down Swan and just feeling that vibe of being at home and all the fans there, that's one thing I love about it. So, that's why I love playing at home.
Man.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Suncorp feeling, like rugby league field. It's rectangular, like just everyone, all the crowd. Like, regardless of how much you get, like, I know bigger stadiums and stuff have more people, but you actually can feel the crowd next to you, and you can feel that roar, and that's something I reckon really makes me feel like I'm at home. And obviously the purple jerseys help, but for us, I think because we train all the time in the wet and the cold, and obviously it's always cold around June to August, and field's always muddy and sloppy, and you always get into that grindy kind of footy. We're not pretty, but I think it just helps us get down and dirty and win those games, So I know some teams, like obviously Queensland and Sydney, they have nice weather all the time. So when they come down, and it's a little bit colder than usual for them, a little bit wet, and they can't really play the style of footy they want to play, and we just get into that grind. I think that's just what makes Melbourne so good, and that's why it probably was called the graveyard, because no one wanted to come down to cold, wet Melbourne.
It's a good point, but we'll move on, quickly touch on this week's game. Obviously massive, another prelim final. We've got the Panthers at a core stadium, I think it is. Yep. So not at their home ground, which I think, it's another advantage to us there, so no reason why we can't. But, big game, and like I said, you don't take prelims lightly, so how you boys feeling for that? Hughesy obviously still probably 50-50, but Mun, you're a certainty, so how are you feeling? Like I said, probably getting boring for you prelim finals now, but it's a big game, and I guess a different squad to what you're usual to, so you're a bit of a leader now, and what's different for you this week?
Oh, so the young squad, we're really excited to be in another prelim. We got out of jail last week, but I think we're stepping forward and getting better with our footy. It's not pretty at times. We show glimpses on how good we can be, but I'm just really proud of our group. We've got a young group. I'm probably the oldest in the group, with obviously Hughesy, Walshy, and a couple others. And scary to think, me coming through, I was always probably one of the younger boys coming through, so I didn't really have to worry about everything else. Just kind of played footy and that, but probably just obviously I need to have high standards out training and lead the younger boys a bit better and what the preparation looks like and that. But the boys have been doing really well. I know we had a bit of a hiccup in our spine against the Bronx, but thought we'll move forward against the Roosters. I know it didn't look pretty at times, and that's finals footy. You got to take your moments, and we just didn't take them. But I still have that belief that we've got the side to go real deep and make the grand final. Obviously, Penrith are the benchmark, and rightly so. They've been the best team all year for the last 2 or 3 years, but I have that mindset or that mentality that if you play your best footy, you can obviously beat anyone on their day, and that's what we need to play our best footy and play out our skin to obviously get that opportunity to go to the grand final.
Yeah, I reckon that's like partly why I'm so disappointed, I guess, is like hurting my ankle, because I'm like, I really feel like we're a genuine shot this year, and I want to be a part of that, but now it's going to be a part of it just in a different role. But like you said, man, it's an exciting group, and I'm sure every team says that, but once you've experienced it, you know who you've got around you. And this year, especially with momentum being a big buzzword, it's it's definitely reachable. So, but are you, Hughesy, any comments on the game this week?
Yeah,
or just got to get through and
my main thing's just getting the calf right and getting on that field. And I think Mun summed it up pretty well. Like, we just need to focus on ourselves, and like you said, if we can play our best footy, we can beat anyone on their day. But we just need to bring our best footy, and obviously we need to against such a good team like Penrith, and just can't give them anything. We got to win our moments, and we can't drop off any moment because they will take control of the game and take advantage of that. So we just need to be on our game. But I'm confident. The boys have been really upbeat this week. Obviously, prelim finals are really hard to get to, and grand finals are even harder. So I think the boys are relishing the challenge, and real upbeat this week. And hopefully we can do a great job on Friday, and hopefully I can be out there.
Fingers crossed, eh? Hopefully we're back here next week preparing for a grand final. That's the goal. And we'll have a bonus episode obviously as well. So fingers crossed, big game from you boys this week. But now we'll dive into the Ausmerican Aces community. Plenty of questions getting around. Some great questions coming too. So thank you for them. We'll get through a few of them today, and we'll save a few for next week as well. But off the bat to start us off, from Bucky's _, question for Money. Do you like the pressure of being the make something out of nothing player?
Yeah, I probably do. I think that was probably something that obviously I've been training all week with Will about that moment, but to get it off obviously in the game and Will icing it, it was a ballsy play, but I'm a bit of a gambler in a way.
On and off the field?
On and off the field. But I don't know, I just seen that moment where if I kick the field goal, we still got to win the game.
Yeah.
I felt like, it would have been nice to ice the field goal at times, but I wanted to win the game instead of going to extra time. And if it come off, which it did. But if it didn't, I'd hold my head up high and go, I took the moment. And if it didn't come off with me, I'll still live with that moment. And I'd rather be sitting there at the end of the game going, at least I tried something, and I didn't try it. And if I just sat there going, what if I didn't try it? So that was something that I obviously go through. I'd be, like I said, a bit of a gambler, but yeah, I did like that moment. It's
a good question. Great answer too. I didn't really know that about you, but thanks Bucky for that one. Next one's from Jade Pickens. This one's for everyone. What's your favourite way to unwind after a game?
Me?
Well, everyone.
Mine's unwine.
Oh, really?
Red wine.
Red wine Rome.
It's hard for me to get to sleep after a game because I got a lot of adrenaline, a lot of caffeine. So I feel like a wine, couple of reds gets me to bed. So
yeah, right.
And then obviously the KFC on the way home. But
usually, if I've had a good performance, I usually just sit there and watch a movie, or I'll play some games on my phone. If I haven't played great, I'd probably usually go back over the game and watch it. I don't usually do that at times, but if I feel like I've been really bad, like the Bronx game, I really go over and watch how I didn't inject myself in the game. So, that's probably something I usually do after games, but usually I just watch movies. Performance doesn't really get me too down in dumps, but against the Bronx, we had a really good opportunity and I felt like I didn't inject myself. So that's the reason why I watched that game after that.
Fair enough. And mine, best way to unwind after a game, I just like doing something that's just not related to footy at all, whether that's go play golf or do some life admin. I reckon that's probably my best way of unwinding. Yeah, get away from it for a little bit because, you're coming back in a few days later for a review and back amongst it. So that's probably my way. Good question, Jade. All right, Cameron Slade's the next one. Would you rather be MVP, NBA or NFL? I'm NFL.
So I'm probably overthinking it, but I reckon NBA.
Okay.
What, NBA?
I reckon NBA is way harder to get.
I know there's 6
I reckon
games,
NFL is just quarterbacks get it.
Yeah.
Where NBA, there's a lot of different players, so I feel like you're doing a better job if you're getting.
You feel like with the NBA, you can get yourself into the game because there's 6 games? Are you talking about the MVP of the season or you mean MVP of the game?
No,
of the season.
The grand final. Of the season. Oh, apologies.
Yeah, I reckon I'll go NBA.
Okay. I'm sticking
NFL
still.
I'm sticking NFL.
NFL.
So you're obviously QBs then.
QBs.
I'm a running back, bro.
Well, you're not getting it then.
Christian McCaffrey.
Underpaid them.
Next
running
one
backs.
was from MH Baddie,
I think
777.
that's my sister.
Is that your sister?
Yeah.
The Baddie.
Yeah. That's my sister.
Well, shout out. What's her name?
Montes.
Montes.
What's
Montes
the
asked
question?
me, how do you mentally get over an injury without giving up on the motivation to carry on? Like, great question.
That's actually a good question from her. I was expecting something out of the ordinary, but
Great
that's
question.
actually not too
I like
bad.
that.
How do I mentally get over an injury without giving up on the motivation to carry on? I think the first simple answer is, well, it's literally my job to get over this. So I get paid to come back and play, which is sort of probably the obvious answer. But I think through the darker days, I think you just got to lean on the support around you and realize it's bigger than you, the injury. I think, you sort of feel sorry for yourself for a little bit there. But I think for me, it's, just thinking about the bigger picture and just realizing that someone's generally in a worse position than I am. And if I can get through this and spread the message to someone else and can get them through something, then I feel like I've done my job. So that's probably my mentality. I'm not sure if you boys are any different.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I probably haven't, touched wood, I haven't had too many long
your back
injuries.
stuff early on, though. That's pretty scary.
It was all in a probably good time. It was all off season, and preseason.
Yep.
So you know how much I like missing preseason. So, but yeah, I think like you said, just leaning on your support crew. Like I know at times you might feel like you don't want to be a burden on them or anything, or you don't want to be asking your family and to help you out with stuff when you can't do stuff when you're injured. So, but I think they'd do anything for you. Especially if you got such a good support crew around you. Just leaning on them, and even if it's just to have a chat in that, I feel like it's good. And for the motivation, just getting back. Obviously, got to get back because that's our job. But most of us would dream of being in the NRL, and you don't want it to go away because you had a bad injury. You want to stick at it and be in the NRL as long as you can. So I reckon that's my motivation. Just still my dream to be playing professional sport.
Man, you had long-term injuries? Anything?
I think the club would have been pretty excited about this one. I broke my jaw, so I couldn't talk for about 3 or 4
Club
weeks.
or everyone?
Everyone around the club. I had to eat soup, so I reckon I lost 5 kilos when I broke my jaw, so I couldn't eat. Only ate soup for 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
Shout out to Corey Oates, headbutt me. That's probably the touch wood. That's probably the worst injury I've had for a long period of time, which I've been pretty lucky about. Obviously on that, I wouldn't know the dark days at this current stage, which I don't really want to be in. But at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and I'm sure you're a mentally strong person, perhaps, and I can't wait for this comeback season. But just obviously touching on all that kind of stuff, I just think if you're lucky enough to be able to call time on your career at your way, I think that's the best way. I think some people are unfortunate enough that injuries do put them out, and only some people get the good fairy tale. And hopefully, us three in the room can obviously call time in our careers when we're ready to. So hopefully, fingers crossed for that.
That's a good shout. And then there's one more injury-based one. Tommy Hillard, are you more frustrated, more prepared for this setback now that you know? To be honest, I'm probably more frustrated than the first one, just purely because of everything I've been through and everything I know that I'm going to have to go through again.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say it's usually easier the second time around, and it might be at the end of it. Looking back, it's probably going to be easier, but right now, a week after it, it sucks. Definitely more frustrated this time around, especially being so close to a grand final and potentially win another premiership. So simple one for me there. Definitely this time. Another one here. Who is your favourite player when you were a kid in the NRL? I had a couple, but I'm just going to go.
Mine changed too, actually.
I'm going to say first early memories would have been like Brett Camorley.
Really?
Who was he playing for then? Storm?
Sharks.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah.
Life's good. The
Ouchie.
David Peachy.
yeah, that was good.
Oh yeah, mine changed through as I got older. I had a few different ones, but first one's obviously been a Warriors fan when I was young. Stacey Jones.
Ooh, yeah.
Stacey Jones was a man. He was the man, the little general. He was the man. So I'll go with him. He was probably my first ever rugby league idol.
He was a gun. I'm going to have to go Darren Lockyer, being from Rockhampton, Brisbane Broncos fan at that time. Yeah, Darren Lockyer.
Darren Lockyer. All right, and last one from Kiana. Might take a little bit of thinking this one. Best piece of advice you've ever received from another athlete?
Oh, another athlete.
Best piece of advice you've ever received from another athlete?
I already got.
Jeepers, you got one?
Yeah.
Well, you go then.
I think it's one of our own teammates who I used to play with was Billy Slater.
Yep.
This obviously, he had a bit of a meeting or had a bit of a luncheon and said, someone asked him on who's the most inspirational person in your life. He said himself, and everyone was in the room going, what do you mean? But he's obviously with that kind of stuff that he was talking about is he got himself to obviously play the footy that he wanted to do. He worked really hard on his craft and worked on it, and he felt like his inspiration was himself to make himself a better person.
Yep.
So I feel like the time he put into his footy, the time he put into his in his game and his off-field stuff and how he prepared, and I think that's something, the more you put in, the more you get out of it. And that's something that's really stuck with me, I reckon, since probably last year.
It's a good one.
That's
Easy.
a good one.
I've got one. I didn't play with him, but I do like what Hinchy said about.
I was just thinking that.
Sorry, man.
You put in the club?
I'm going to get in here quickly.
Yeah, bro. I was just thinking that.
The more you put into the club, the more you'll get out of it, or something along those lines. But yeah, I think he said, and then I think he said, "There's never been a truer word spoken." It's like as you go through your career, you figure that out. I think. Obviously, at the moment, I'm not reaping the rewards of it, but like I said, I've won a premiership, so. There has been good things that happened in my career, and I feel like I've put in that work just knowing that if I do, something good will come out of it. And that's just something that, when you're going through stuff, you just know that if you just keep sticking with it, it will reward you. And that's one. Ryan Hinchcliffe stands out to me.
Yeah, well, that was mine. So I might have to just.
You just go in the tank, or you can just agree.
Yeah, I'll go. He's not an athlete. Well, he was actually. He was an athlete. Craig Bellamy.
Okay.
He was an athlete way back.
A few games
for the Raiders. I've
Raiders.
seen one of his highlights where he gave the most
he was a doctor, wasn't he?
hospital
He put
pass.
that many blokes in hospital.
Mate, there's a clip of him. We should get it up. If we get it up, of him throwing someone
Whose
the
old boy
pass.
was it
Yeah,
again?
someone's old man. Yeah.
He coming to the club.
Dean Lance.
Dean Lance.
Yeah, Dean Lance.
Jono's dad.
Gave him an absolute hospital Scott smash. I would never play with that guy again, Craig.
And funny enough, he was in the team meeting room and he showed the video. Oh, mate, his son was really shaking his head. Anyway,
but,
sorry.
His quote was just, and it was probably hit me when I come here, it was, if you need to be willing to work hard if you want something. Like, if you want something, you're not willing to work hard for it. Go find something that you will be willing to work harder. And when I first got to the club, that was one of the things, he said, and that was probably one of the things that I needed to kick up the arse for was, I needed to put in the work. It's not going to just come to me if I'm not going to get anything out of coming to Melbourne if I'm, not willing to put in the work. And obviously there's a lot of hard work that, the club expects you to do, but it's for good reason. And I think that's probably one of the biggest, quotes or anything that's helped me out.
It's a good one.
During my career and, my time here.
All very influential people of the Storm too, if your common message there. But thank you for all those questions, comments, YouTube, TikTok. It's we go through them, get plenty of laughs out of it, and we do feel the support. So thank you for that. And that wraps us up for episode 6 of the Clubhouse. So like I said, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. It helps us out massively. So thank you for that. Follow us on socials and wish you boys the best this weekend. Like I said, big game, but hopefully we're sitting here next week talking about a grand final.
Thank you to Ausmerican Aces.
Chase the auto time. We're getting an auto. I'm going to call it right. We just have to get an auto. There's 5 packs left.
There has to be.
Of our NRL 2023 Elite. There's 5 packs left. We're going to open them all.
If we don't get one, it's a dud box.
All right, I'm going to go first because I don't think I've got anything.
I'm going last because I can't even open my pack.
All right, I've got... Oh, does he? Yeah.
I got a goodie.
All right, I'll go through then. Philip Sami.
It's a goodie.
Victor Adley. Tom Travojevic.
I'll go last.
Clutch Kings, Daly Cherry Evans. That's nice. Cool card. Eels Checklist. Felice Kafusi. The Poos. Mitch Barnett and Selwyn Cobbo.
I'll go second then because if you've got something
All right.
decent. Daniel Tupou, Roosters. Jake Travojevic, Sea Eagles. Jeremiah Nanai, North Queensland Cowboys. New recruit. Oregon, Kafusi.
Hold it on the side, man. Go like that. No, like.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, that one. There you go.
New recruit. Oh, here he is, the big sex from the Dolphins,
sex.
Jesse
Big sex.
Bromwich. Murata Neokore for the New Zealand Warriors. He's having a good season.
Yeah, he's going good.
He's going good. Viliami Kickow for the Bulldogs. And Ronaldo Molitalo for the Sharks.
Sue.
So
Here we go.
Blake Laurie.
He's happy. He's happy
He's
with
got
this
something.
auto.
He's got an auto.
Dragons.
I reckon it's a veteran.
You reckon?
Mo.
JT.
I reckon it's JT.
He's got the
He's got the paint.
legs. Elliot Whitehead.
They all have legs.
Oh,
Raiders.
No way.
You want a peep, bro? You want a peep as well? Sharks checklist.
Is it what I think it is?
Yeah, Reese Evans will be loving this card.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I think so. He's been chatting about it.
That is huge.
Ice, Papali'i.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Bang.
Do you want to see?
Are you going to go first? Are you going to go now?
No, I'll block it out.
How did you hit that?
Gutho.
I'm nervous.
Jake Avarello.
Mate, it's a card that you'd never think like.
Yeah, it's good, but you probably don't know what it is. And it's a redemption card. Dynamic duo, signatures. Wayne Bennett and Jesse Bromwich.
Let's go.
We got a huge one, baby.
Finally. Oh, my God.
That is
Dynamic
huge.
duo auto of Big Sex and Wayne Bennett.
Is it numbered?
Holy hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
107 of 132.
Oh,
That's huge.
How good.
That is huge.
Holy heck. One of the great coaches, one of the great front rowers of all time as well.
That's sick.
First Dolphins card.
And
That's huge, man.
That's
I feel
big.
like you don't see Wayne Bennett signatures out there that
No.
much.
No, he doesn't sign them.
He doesn't.
Nah.
No.
He's
How
There
good's
you
that?
go.
We were talking about that too on the
they would have to
4-point
pay him a
chat.
squillion, I reckon.
Holy yeah.
Yeah, and Jess probably would have asked for a squillion too, actually. He's
He
a
would
bit
have
stingy
percentage
like
over
that,
too, Jess.
bro.
Wow, finally. We've
How
come
good.
through.
You know what? That's actually that's actually great. We
That's
waited.
made up for the box,
Yeah,
isn't it?
100%. I reckon we still got more too.
Yeah, potentially.
We'll save it for next week, obviously, but
Now we got an automated.
how good.
Oh, huge.
Boom!
Well done. It's only on the up. We've finished well here.
On the up.
Let's go.
We are selling that card.
Might have to do a
Something
giveaway or
bids.
something, eh?
Minimum bid, 10 grand.
bid.
Do a little giveaway.
You can actually buy the car for 10 grand, guys. We got the kids to feed.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone that has tuned into the Clubhouse podcast. Please make sure you have hit the subscribe button on all our channels and also following us on social media at Ausmerican Aces so that you don't miss out on any announcements.
Catch you at the Clubhouse.